we are live. Hey, welcome to Bad Science Sunday, where we take a comedic approach to debunking science misinformation on the internet. And after last week, I really was worried about hitting the live button, but I see everybody so excited. And today we have for you the Holy Spackle. Spackle, what's the elevator pitch? Tell them who you are.
What's the elevator? What?
Like when people ask you about your channel, what do you do?
Oh, my channel is fairly eclectic. I came onto YouTube around 2014-ish, 13-ish, and into the great debate, God or no God, atheists and Christians mainly engaged, but sometimes we'd get somebody else from another religion and we'd be like, yay, we are excited, a pagan, but a lot of Christians were engaging. But there weren't very many progressive Christians, and so I was one
Yeah,
of
there
the
was like
few,
you and
and
then all
Fiona.
the debate bros.
Yeah, me, Fiona, and then all the debate bros, pretty much. And the fundamentalists, they're really scrappy, so they're all about it. But
Hmm.
you'll find that a lot of more progressive Christians are like, I'm not that hardcore. I'm not going to force everybody to believe, man. Like, I don't know
Right.
what yours, like they're going to, and so they're less involved in those sort of things. So unfortunately, the squeaky wheel is always the fundamentalists. So, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then whatever the hell Brett King was. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Brett Keane, he was my first hangout ever, and I'll just
Wow.
tell you a quick story.
Hmm.
I used to be friends with a lady that was on Dogma Debate with David Smalley, and she did the science segment. Her name was Rachel, and I just haven't talked to her in a while. Nothing happened. She invited me to join her boyfriend, who was getting kicked around by these fundamentalists, saying like atheists don't have morality, and just kicking him around like, I know you're a terrible person, and I was like, what on earth? And I just had never seen that quite like that before. And then as soon as I joined, one person screaming at me for being an atheist, another person screaming at me for being a Catholic, something I'm not. And I'm just like, wow, you guys are so unhinged. And that was my
Yeah.
introduction, was just like really unhinged fundamentalists. And then it just kind of became a thing. It was really interesting.
But you've
Sometimes
been
I
around
also
since the uh,
Google Plus, yeah.
Google Plus days, which is different than I came in 6 months before the Google Plus shut down. So everybody was moving on to YouTube. I was watching from like the side chat and just kind of getting a feel for everybody. You didn't get that luxury.
No, I kind of climbed in and I was kind of wide eyed and really naive. I was very, very naive. And at the time when I first joined, I was like, peace and love, man. I don't understand why we can't just have a discussion. Why are we fighting? And now I'm like a internet thug. No, I'm not just kidding. I'm not that bad. But yeah, it did change me over the years. But I do
Right.
weirdo watch a lot. So one of the weird
Hmm.
things about the Great Debate was a lot of people just like, we did the arguments over and over again, and then people were more and more unhinged, and then it turned into, let's watch the unhinged people do unhinged things, and then I fell into lulz cow watching. So I kind of do a little bit of both. So like,
You
you
do a
know,
lot of little skull watching.
I do, yeah.
It's pretty much all you do on your channel, right? When you go live.
A lot of times, yeah. I just went live talking about Jordan Peterson and his one Christian against 20 atheists, which they named Jordan Peterson against 20 atheists. They had to rename it because the kerfuffle with Danny.
Which is
So,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was in the side chat getting scrappy. Was it Simos or?
Simos, yeah, you were
Yeah.
like, don't excuse Jordan Peterson.
Mm-mm. No. I mean, because people are, they, he's a grifter, period. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not, no, I don't do the whole, like, let's give him credit for anything. Like, he doesn't deserve it. His story changes way too much. I, yeah. So,
I do
anyways,
agree with Danny. He is a whole lot of nothing.
yeah. But Danny, again, was not calling Jordan Peterson nothing. He was calling him an atheist. Now, in the context of the debate or whatever it was, I could totally understand Jordan Peterson getting an ego because it's high stress environment there.
Mhm.
And hearing that. Um, but like even when I heard it, I'm like, that's not really like Danny. And when I thought about it, I'm like, the very next words out of his mouth is like, yeah, but you're not really anything. You're not an atheist.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, you're not a Christian. And so when he was saying you're not anything, he was talking about his philosophy or his 'cause,
Oh, I
yeah, like the conversation was, what are you? Like claim of faith. Like I'm here to debate a Christian. Is that you? And that was almost solely the entire conversation. Well,
and he was
yeah,
like, "None
it
of
was
your
solely the
business."
entire.
He
Yeah,
was like, "None of your business."
yeah,
And he's like, "That's the name of this thing." And he's like,
yeah.
"Is
And
it?"
if you talk to Danny, he'll tell you like the in the heading of the email that all the atheists got was, 20 atheists debate a Christian. Like that was the
Right.
title of the email before the like when they were trying to set it up. They were saying, do you want to come on and debate a Christian? And then Jordan Peterson's like, well, why are you asking me this? And that's why he's like, well, you're a Christian. Like, that's why we're here. Like, we were all told that that's what this was. And I think you were watching the
Surprise,
one that
surprise.
SJ was
Oh, yeah.
reviewing. And she's
We
just
like
like,
to
well,
call SJ Thomason Glenocide Glenda.
wait, what?
Genocide Glenda.
Genocide Glenda, why?
Because she'll go down with the ship defending all the genocides in the Bible, just completely down with the ship, and be like, well, God knew that they would do evil things, so the babies had to die. And we're like, oh my gosh.
I I think one of my friends calls her the dumbest Christian he knows.
Mm,
I and
she's
I
she's frustrating.
She's frustrating, yeah, yeah. I was like, I don't know, I'm American. I hear you though.
Yeah, I've got a roommate that I'm not gonna.
I
Never mind.
know a lot more interesting dumb Christians than SJ. I can introduce you to them if you'd like.
You know what? In this space, I think they would probably like that. But
Mm.
all right, I did promise somebody last time you were on that I would ask you why you were called the Holy Spackle. I forgot to do that, so we'll do that this time, and then we'll talk about what we're getting into today.
Oh yeah, so like I came in all naive and like, oh no, why are we fighting Jesus and all? And then the fundamentalists were like, "Rawr, you're not a real Christian. You're basically an atheist." And the atheists were like, "You're excusing all the things that they say." And I was just like trying to like smooth it over and be like, "Hey man, like I'm here to have a discussion, not play hockey." And they're like, "Play hockey or die." And so it was kind of like that. Well, anyway, one of the atheists, he passed away, Gus. He was a wordsmith, and man, he was really good in just at just coming up with things and a really wealth of information. And it's too bad he's gone. But Gus, as an atheist, and he was teasing me, going, smooth, 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 smooth. That's all you do. Smooth the argument over, smooth relationships over. And at the time, that's kind of like the role I played. I was like, yeah, man. But, like I also was trying to facilitate being
Mhm.
able to have conversations where the atheists aren't like, here's a picture of Jesus in piss. And you're not going to be able to have a conversation with a Christian when you keep doing things like that, y'all. Like, so I tried to like kind of balance it a little bit, but yeah, it was so funny at the time. So that's where the name comes from. It is not a jizz reference. Everybody seems to think so, but it isn't. I'm just saying. So I just want to make that clear.
Um, okay. No being good tonight. Sorry, guys. Or
That's
yeah, most what do you call it? Dr. Kip, I guess, because he's bingo loving fool.
yeah. Yeah. Apparently he's too tired though. I don't know why. It's not like he did anything today.
I know it's not like he was at a conference all day.
Hmm. Oh, I was
Anyways,
talking about. Never mind.
oh, Dr. Kip, yes, had his 2,000 sub stream today. He streamed for 3 hours, which was kind of nuts, but good for you. Anyways, what was my point? All right.
Do you have
So,
one?
oh no, I was going to move on. So today is going to be fun. I promised fun, and fun you shall have. Doc, what are we doing today?
All right. Well, today we have found the lost land of Tartaria in the Book of Mormon. Who would have thought it, people? Who would have thought it? The channel that we're covering is Ward Radio, back for like their fourth or fifth appearance on this channel. I don't know, at
I
least
really
their
like
third.
Quaco.
Yeah, yeah. But also like the main dude, even when Quaku's not here, like they still do all right. But
Yeah, yeah,
Ward
sure.
Radio, they have almost 50,000 subscribers. And compared to a lot of the other people that we cover on this channel, I don't
Yeah, I'm
begrudge
surprised
them
they're
that,
not
you know?
over. Yeah, I'm surprised
Yeah.
they're not over 50,000. But
And this video from 2 years ago only has 7,000 views and is labeled conspiracies, which I love.
I mean, yeah, it's not conspiracy. So we're going to be talking about Tartaria, which uh, it's one of those things like Lemuria, where it's an old term that has made a resurgence,
I've never
and
heard of it.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like Terraria, which is a game on Steam you can buy, and it's like a little extra pixelated Minecraft, but everything's tiny, and I don't know if you're throwing me a shovel or a pistol. I have no idea. But it sounds like Terraria.
Terraria.
Yeah.
Well, did Atlanteans flee to Terraria and then start like a global uh, free energy domination scheme
No, but
with Nikola Tesla?
I did fall into a light worker hole, which was really weird last night. So that's a whole cult.
Light worker, what?
Yeah, light
What is a light
workers.
work?
They're like a mix of like New Age and aliens.
So yeah,
Okay.
light workers. Okay, in the New Age community are usually people. So like Reiki would be a light worker, or any like energy healers.
Would Teal
Um,
Swan be a light worker?
who? Yeah.
Well,
She would be a mod. She would be a teacher. Yeah, she teaches how to do light work.
I find her fascinating.
I mean, all of the work I do is light work.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
very
no,
lazy.
it's the same thing. Yeah, you're using energy to heal the
Oh,
body.
that. Sorry, I thought you were just talking about good old fashioned laziness. Never mind.
No, no. This is where you use your mind to heal, and light, and and energy and vibrations. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those are light
Sounds
Very.
workers.
completely legit.
It
Oh,
totally seems to, like, a lot of the groups
hmm
seem to fit the bite model too, so it's very fascinating.
hmm
Why did it just have a stroke when I tried to change the playback speed? There we go.
Oh, not at the very beginning because they have that intro song that I don't.
Okay, what is the name of these guys again? It's not Terraria. What is it really?
This is
Tartaria.
that's
It
the name of what we're covering tonight.
yes,
This is Word Radio.
Tortuga?
and
Just
Tor-
kidding.
and their show is Midnight Mormons, I guess. This is like the main host of it, but he's not like the main person that we care about. The main person we care about is Quaku.
Because
we
Quaku
all
always comes with like yeah, Word
guy
Radio does.
delivers.
It's a bunch of like Mormons doing Mormon shit. So I was watching. Apparently there were a bunch of women who went to Washington and knit like wove blankets or whatever, protesting Trump and his treatment of immigrants. So, that was kind of uplifting. And then there was another video, and, how you should be celibate and wait for your husband because then you'll have the best sex. And I, can't say I agree 100% with that take, but, you can find all that on Word Radio.
You could get lucky or very unlucky with that. It's
Well,
like
no,
a mystery box.
they don't want you to get lucky. No getting lucky.
Well,
Yeah.
Mormons want you to get lucky a lot. They want you to have tons of kids.
Fair. All right.
Oh,
So
soaking. Yes, soaking. Jump on the bed. Jump on the bed.
Oh my god. All right. So I have skipped to the first
Right, let's go.
index chapter thing. Why is it muted? That is my bad.
But no, there's been lots of lost civilizations that have been found. I mean,
Yes.
technology has a tendency to lose itself more than to improve itself, even according to modern technogeniuses like Elon Musk. So,
oh god, I didn't realize that that by skipping the intro that we were immediately going to this. So, do you want me to go back and let him say it again?
No, you could just respond. I think we all heard that.
Okay, well, there are a lot of things to respond to. The last thing he said was to refer to Elon Musk as a techno genius, which I vomited a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah.
And the statement, though, his thesis just there was that technology tends to like disappear and go away rather than become more advanced.
Right.
Which, like, where have you been, my guy?
I don't know how to quantify that. I mean, there's like some stuff that we don't know how they did it, but we could totally do it.
Yeah, and we can do it better. Like the example that leaps to mind for me of like a lost technology was like Damascus steel or whatever. And the exact way that they did that particular, steel making process has been lost, I think. But the steel that we can make now
so much better,
way better.
And like what I immediately thought of was like I think Greek concrete.
Oh, I don't know if I know about that.
It's Roman concrete.
Or Roman. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, Roman concrete. Yeah, where it's just like, whoa, we don't know what this mixture is, or whatever. But I mean, our concrete is at least as good.
So. Yeah, and definitely better.
Well, actually, a point of contention. So the Roman concrete is better because they use seawater in the mixture.
Well, okay, it might be better than the exact same stuff if you didn't use seawater, but like seawater is pretty available. I have a feeling that if that were a reliable way of just making your concrete better, that
we would do it.
People don't just intentionally choose a worse version if the better version is just as easy and better.
Well, there's a dry dock in Southern California, and it was serving the ships when they were repairing after it had been damaged in World War II in the Pacific. So they chug back and they would fix it and they'd send them back. And when the dry dock was originally constructed, it was constructed, I think, 1920s or something. It was done with marble, really expensive material, marble all the way down. But then when they had to kind of fit it so that it could fit like warships, they did concrete at the bottom. And of course, that just gets disintegrated over time. So it's kind of interesting. It's like the marble still stays and the concrete goes away. And I just sort of like the other thing, like you kind of wonder, like why is a lot of our concrete structures actually falling apart? You could go to the desert and someone will have cinder block, desert structures, and they'll just corrode where the Roman stuff is still standing. So I think it is an interesting thing.
Not all concrete is created equal, though. Like, there's definitely, the cheap concrete absolutely exists, and I'm sure it existed back then, too. It's not around anymore. The good stuff stuck around, So.
Yeah.
But, but apparently technology, like, the general rule is that technology decays and gets worse over time. What?
Well, there's like a lot of people that say that. They're like, if only we were as smart as we were back when we built pyramids, and they just assume,
Have you seen this video?
No, but like I know, like I've seen other things like this.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of people outside of this video that say things like that.
Yeah.
I met a guy.
A lot of people.
Really quick, I met a guy named Arcane Logos in the debate community, and he believed that the Ark of the Covenant was an energy battery, and that it is actually hidden in one of the Great Pyramids right now. It's just
That is
Okay.
awesome. I think well, I'll just say it because these things never highlight on my side. I do want to thank Team O&B's woefully dogmatic chronostatic centrism has been a tapioca weasel for 12 months, and also Jester, who's been a member for 16 months. Holy
Weasel
shit!
Colt.
And Jester says techno dipshit, but what kind of shit? Or techno but what kind of which I'm pretty sure is shit, but I mean, Jester has a clean mouth. So everybody enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties and vaginas.
Who believe in Tartaria also believe in Atlantis and Lemuria and those lost places. And it turns out Tartaria or Tartary appears on a lot of medieval maps.
Okay.
An incredible amount of medieval maps. Now some people say it's it's equivalent to like a Gotham City. It's like a fake place people knew about.
Okay, no. Tartaria.
Just for the record, what's on screen is not a fake place. This is what's known as China and Mongolia and Eastern Russia. I mean, like, look at it. It's very clearly China.
Yes, but on the map, was it Tartary. So apparently, that is the name that ancient map makers would give Asian places that they were unfamiliar with. So I don't know what's there. It's Tartaria, kind of like how we got our name over here in the Americas. It's like, I don't, there's land here. I don't, this isn't mine. Like check America's maps, like that, So, but in Asia, from what I hear, Tartaria was the designation. So people would look up these maps and I don't know, just make shit up. It's like, oh, there used to be a lost civilization. What happened to it? Why do we see it on these maps and not these maps?
The world used to be flat too. Why don't we see it on these maps and not
I'm so glad you brought that up because Maya never likes to talk about the hard and fast truth of the flat Earth.
I don't.
They're trying to keep us out of Antarctica because they know we'll see the edge.
No, it doesn't exist. It's a wall of ice.
Yep.
And that's why we could never go there.
I want to go to Antarctica.
Unless, globe heads want to pay for your ticket so you can see a 24-hour sun.
Man, I should have pretended to be a flat earther.
I know, right?
We get like
others
a
say
lot
it
of
actually
attention.
did exist.
Oh man, if I like became a flat earther, I think that I could pretty easily, in pretty short order, become the most famous flat earther on the planet. And it's not me specifically. Any physicist that did that could do the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, and real quick, for $2, Team O&B's woefully dogmatic chronostatic centrism says, how many times had to rediscover lodestone?
So lodestone. Oh, lodestone is like an ancient word for magnets. Okay.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you went back a 1,000 years and you had to and you spoke to somebody who knew English, my explanation is already falling apart. Let's press play.
And it turns out that many places that were said to be fake were just sunken cities, and we have entire sunken cities underground.
Okay.
So as I started learning about Tartaria, I was like, well, lost cities, lost civilizations.
Yeah, that sounds kind of familiar.
Book of Mormon.
But dum.
So,
dum 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 dum.
The Book of Mormon talks about shit that happened in America. Tartaria
Well, yeah, but it talks about civilizations that ostensibly exist. The point he's making is not.
It's not Asian
It,
and it's not
it,
Russian, which is where
correct.
Tartaria was.
Yes, but the point he's making is that lost civilizations, also Book of Mormon, lost civilizations, and that is a vaguely valid point because there's a lot of stuff in the Book of Mormon that apparently
doesn't exist.
Vanished.
Okay. I'll be honest. I'm not familiar at all with the Book of Mormon. And if Caden's out there, I am sorry. It was not my. We were not allowed to look at it. I didn't even know it was a thing until I was in high school.
Yo, I tried to read it like a couple of years ago. It's so bad. Like as a piece of literature.
It's like Twilight out of Christendom.
It's more like My Immortal, okay, which is an infamous Harry Potter fanfic.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's like that, and it came to pass that I wasn't able to complete it.
Mark
I wonder
Twain
how the Book of
said
Mormon fits into this whole
chloroform
equation.
in print.
Yes.
That's a really funny quote.
That is, yes, that's exactly. It really is.
Chloroform in print. I love that.
Yup. Mark Twain was savage.
I wonder how the Book of Mormon fits into this whole equation. Well, Tartarians believe that around biblical...
How does he know what Tartarians
the New Testament
believe?
period.
That's a big jump.
Because he fell down like a YouTube rabbit hole or something. It's Kwaku. Who cares?
The Americas, as well as Tartary, were full of large-scale cities. We're talking they envied Rome. We're talking they were massive. Now, the only one who could be like Mormons, we tend to downplay it. Well, it could have just been like Native American to the two people who hate the Book of Mormon.
Yeah,
these guys would say that we're weak and we don't own it.
Yes, I love
no,
these
it was
guys.
massive. It was big as Egypt, even bigger. Like
And
that's
so
what they believe. Yeah.
the question that comes up from this is like, okay,
hat Mormon.
Yeah, they're all Mormon.
They're all Mormon.
So black
Everybody
people
in
are
Mormon.
allowed to be Mormons now.
They're allowed to be. Yeah, they're allowed to be Mormons. I forgot when that changed, but it was a couple of decades.
Oh, the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're allowed to have the
not the Mark of
priesthood.
Cain anymore.
Not what?
They
The
called
Mark
him the
of-
Mark of Cain.
Because they're not white
They
and
haven't
delightsome.
changed. Yeah, they haven't changed any of their teachings. I think they just kind of gloss over those.
Oh my god.
They have changed their teachings by
I mean, it's still in the book,
and
though,
therefore they gloss over all of their old ones. The phrase white and delightsome is like that is a phrase that shows up, I believe, in multiple locations in the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
And-
That's why I'm saying like they kind of gloss over. Like it's not like they ripped out any of the pages of the book.
Yeah.
if it was this big, where did it all go, right? Like, where are all of these buildings if the Tartarians were just like, if their civilization stopped, where'd they go?
Oh, so many people have asked these questions.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a good question to ask. And it's one of those proof by contradiction things. If this is true, we should see this. We don't see this, therefore this can't be true.
Oh no. Oh no. You'll be shocked to know that there's been a global cover up by the they.
Yep.
They.
So let's just really fast for all audience here. Let's throw up the basic Wikipedia dictionary, not dictionary, the Wikipedia definition, because Wikipedia never lies.
Never.
But anyway, Tartary, okay, was a blanket
Tartary?
term used in Western Europe
Like, it
literature
sounds like
and
a tartan.
cartography. And for
Yeah.
all of you prognos,
It's probably the exact same. That's probably where the word
out there,
Well, I
that's
mean-
the study, use, and
Yeah.
creation.
I'm not gonna
No,
bring it up.
it's correct.
For a
Yeah.
vast part of Asia bounded by the Capsaicin Sea. Capsaicin. Wow, there's a guy that works in pest control. Caspian Sea, Ural Mountains, and Pacific Ocean. All right. It says here that in the modern English-speaking tradition, the region was formerly known as Tartary, okay, or Inner or Central Eurasia, and ignorance surrounding Tartary's use as a place name has spawned conspiracy theories, including ideas of a hidden past and mud floods. Oh, there's
There we go. And
there's mud floods. I'm sorry.
oh.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I mean, he reads the whole thing, and then they're just gonna be like, yeah, but like, what if we're the conspiracy theorists that the last sentence I just read from the Wikipedia article is describing?
Yeah.
Mud floods.
Oh,
What do we
brace
gotta
yourself
talk
for the
about?
mud floods,
Oh.
Carden.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh, did
well,
I just land? Did I stumble
The
upon
mud flood
land?
is what brings us together.
Yeah.
The mud flood is what brings us together. It's like
Oh, yeah.
gravity.
Kind of.
Real?
So mud floods. It's like a deluge. You know, like how Atlantis ended because of a flood, and so Tartaria went away because of the mud floods. But actually, you know what? Depending on who you talk to, Tartarians are Atlanteans. They are the Caucasian ancestors that used to live in Asia that had, this grand. They continued the grand architecture and what do you call it, technology, and so on and so forth. And when the mud floods came, it wiped out just the Tartarians. Only the Caucasian Tartarians were wiped out in Asia, leaving all the brown people. And so then all the brown people came and said, hey, we don't want any remnants from these Caucasians. Let's destroy it all. Good thing this mud flood came by.
Okay, every part of me is attempting to turn that into an analogy to Avatar, and I'm trying to figure out which is the Fire Nation.
I'm thinking like there's a bunch of white people that want to be victims, and they're like, look, we're victims too.
As a white victim, I
Oh my
resemble that
God.
remark.
Uh-huh.
So-
Okay.
Basically, if you're a Tartarian truther, you
By the way,
believe
look at Brittany. She's like literally
I
just like
just-
looking at you like, ah!
I've never
If you're-
heard of this, so
if you're no, this is like this is not a new conspiracy, but
really-
Never having heard of this is the correct response.
By the way, this is our
I've never
Lord
heard
and
of this.
Savior Kwaku. Okay.
I was a new
Yeah.
ager. I've heard of a lot of shit.
No, he's
Maya's a bad
fighting
friend.
to watch at least.
I am.
Y-
I am.
yes.
And I know of a lot of bad shit, and so you must now too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like the whole thing of the channel, though. Like you have to know what the idiots are saying so that you don't get duped by the dog whistles.
Yeah, I don't put that much effort into understanding a lot of the subpart. So much so that you put the tree of life in front of me, no idea. I'm not able to
Yeah.
turn it into physics, therefore, no idea.
No, he's a bad co-host.
Terrible.
it's gaining prominence again.
I am the best one you've got, though.
Okay.
Because all the conspiracy bros have to like outdo each other, so they're all digging into like weird, bizarre
But
books.
is this a conspiracy, dog? Jeffrey Epstein was a conspiracy until it was found to be true.
Yeah,
I'm not going to disagree with that, actually.
this one's a lot more far fetched, but there are some things
No,
that
Kwaku,
really make you.
Kwaku, this is real.
This is real. Well,
Real.
He knows what's up. That is a man who knows exactly what the assignment is.
there's a thing called the mud flood theory, and the mud flood
Hit
theory
me.
was that
Maybe before the mud flood theory, let's talk about
No, you can't.
We're teased now.
I know, right? It's like he already said it. Just let it out. Oh man.
She regrets being here so much. And whereas he's like, oh, I know exactly what to do. I would be this guy. I want to be Kwaku, but I
The
don't
dude
have
with
that
the
raise.
hat is like super excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
Tartarian architecture.
Okay.
oh yeah,
So-
that's a good point.
So, Carden,
Okay.
I want you to pull up real quick Tartarian architecture. There's something you see on the map that you have that you had brought up earlier. It's kind of in Eastern Europe. There's a bit of a vibe of like Tartarian architecture includes a lot of like pillars, a lot of domes.
Oh, let's see what Bloomberg has to say about this. Check this out.
Yeah, look at those beautiful buildings, right?
Oh, that's a great. It's almost super Art Deco. Like there's a lot of Los Angeles looks like that. Let me see. It says.
And why do you think a lot of Los Angeles looks like that?
Oh, did I just stumble upon?
Exactly.
I have been
Mud
fortunate.
floods. This is the mud floods. They picked them up from Tartaria and carried them along to LA. You're welcome.
I don't think LA has a history of like horrific flooding. I do think they have a history of horrific fires.
Where is all the Tartarian architecture? Huh?
It's the same place as the Mormon architecture, Maya.
The Scientologists in LA suppressed it.
Yeah, exactly. See, Spackle understands the assignment too.
On something, dude? It says, okay, believers in the Tartarian.
By the way, I can't see the rest of their title here at the bottom.
It's Tartarian bullshit. QAnon.
Exactly.
QAnon. What?
Like, there's nothing else you need to see there.
How does it tie to QAnon? What?
Yeah, Maya, I'm with Spackle. I feel like we absolutely need to see how they got there.
It's QAnon. They don't know how they got there.
It's just a rabbit hole.
They like RFK because it sounds like JFK. And JFK, something God, and next coming of Jesus.
And then also everything is the Jews' fault, according to them.
Yeah.
Tartaria conspiracy theory are convinced that the elaborate temporary fairgrounds built for events like the Panama Pacific International Exposition in San Francisco in 1915 were really the ancient capital cities of a fictional empire. So before...
Ta-da!
There we go.
You doubted, but I was right.
What did I doubt?
What? I told you, you said there's no evidence of like mud floods in California. And I said what he just said. I will
die on the hill that all of this is bullshit.
Excuse me, I have something to say.
Uh-huh.
If you look at a map at California, in the middle of California, there was a huge giant lake back in the days, like way back in the days, like before people came. I just want to point that out. There was a plethora of water at one point.
Yeah, it was a mud flood, and it brought Tartarian architecture with it, obviously.
Just like Texas was swampy at one point.
Well, there was like a big ass like sea that went down the middle of the continent, right? Like, once upon a time ago.
Yeah, but I don't know what year are they trying to place Tartaria at?
Usually it's about 200 to 300 years ago, but
none
of this happened in America.
That's modern.
Yeah, no, they're gonna get to it. Because they think that like buildings that like people live in, buildings that you've probably been in, are actually like evidence of the mud flood.
Oh my God! Wait, whoa! I we have to sound off. This is like a momentous occasion. 85 people in the chat.
What?
This is a new high for us.
Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button.
You gotta smash that like button. Oh man, sorry.
Smash that like button like it's a pinata full of special gummy.
We're so happy all of you are here.
You let Bloomberg ruin this. Think about this. All of these crazy, beautiful buildings are showing up in these different...
Oh, by the way, we've interrupted it a bit, but they're about to be going on a thing where they are saying that the very elaborate, beautiful temporary structures that were made especially for world's fairs and like world exhibitions and whatnot, that it's just absurd that you would make all of these fancy things and then tear them all down. Obviously mud flood. And so that is sort of the argument that they are now like exploring.
In San Diego, they made the Balboa Park as an exposition, and it's got kind of like that kind of Art Deco kind of fancy architecture. And then they were like, we worked so hard on this, let's just leave it. So they left.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, real quick. I also want to shout out Dr. Dan. Everybody, please go over and say hi to Creation Miss if you haven't already subbed, who hit 10,000 subs in the past month, I believe. So we're really proud of him. And also, I made his sub stream, unlike some people. But shout out to Dr.
all of
Dan.
you people.
I'm sorry, I didn't make it.
I don't know if you and Dr. Dan are acquainted.
What?
But
Why would you call out Holy Spackle like that, Maya? Rude. Horribly rude, okay?
My ears are burning.
Yeah.
Different places where they're what? Building log cabins? You mean to tell me they're building these beautiful edifices? No, these are Tartarian leftovers.
Look up Chicago.
Okay. They
Chicago
just moved
World
into.
Fair. Look up the Chicago World Fair, like 1912 or something like that.
Okay.
This will blow your mind.
That mudflood hit L.A., Chicago, like that. You'd think we'd have more evidence.
I think it was 1912. I think it was still the 1800s. Devil in the White City.
Where we got a huge mudflood that carried buildings from Asia to fucking Chicago via LA.
The evidence is the Grand Canyon.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
I will say that
we found out last stream or the stream before that the Milky Way is in alignment with the Grand Canyon.
Here we've got basically this big.
What does that mean, Maya? I'm sorry. We don't have time. Go watch the last episode.
Wait, well, real quick, I do want to shout out Triceratops, champion of dapitalism, who's been a member for 13 months and says, but what if it's a magical place? And also Dr. Kip Davis, who has 20,000 subs in the past month. Shout out to you, who also said, who is a member for 12 months and says, welcome to the cult. All hail the queen. Congratulations, new cult or returning cult.
I like where they're going. What if it's a magical place like Brigadoon? You know, the story of Brigadoon. It just disappears for 100 years and it reappears.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a musical, Brigadoon. It's really great.
All right.
He's young. He's really young.
Big giant worldwide event that was in 1915 in San Francisco, and now you want me to go and you want me to look up the Chicago World Fair of what, 1915?
Type in 19, it should come up.
19, there's 1933, 1950.
I prefer the St. Louis Fair because there's a song about it.
Well, St. Louis also had the Olympics, I think, in 1904, and there's the marathon in that Olympics was a hilarious horror show of a story.
I'll have to look that up later.
It's even earlier. It's like 1919 or something.
Chicago World Fair in 1893.
It was
White
that
City.
Oh,
look at
this. Was apparently like
it was huge,
equivalent to I don't know. Well, it was massive.
This was a huge big event. This is where the first Ferris wheel debuted.
Oh yeah.
And they did. They built this beautiful. They called it the White City because they built in this sort of Art Deco style. I don't know what that means, but whatever. These huge fairgrounds in a very short amount of time, and then they took it all down. These things were not designed to like last a long time.
No, I mean, it was all just like plaster and wood.
Exactly. Very few of there are some things from World's Fairs that stuck around. The most famous one is probably the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower was originally basically going to be a temporary sculpture, for lack of a better word, but I'm very glad they decided to keep it because it's cool.
Yeah.
If you've never been there, it really is impressive.
But I've seen. Well, I mean, I don't know who hasn't heard of it though. I mean,
Oh God. Yeah. No. It's. Yeah.
That structure. That's not the Chicago's Capitol. That building right there was apparently built.
That's not Chicago's capital. Oh, they mean like the Capitol building of the city of Chicago. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
In a couple weeks. And then was destroyed after because it was only...
It was not built in a couple of weeks. It was built, maybe not in a couple of months, but like on that order. The only thing that really compares to this nowadays is the Olympics. The Olympics is like the only thing where you have these like, a lot of construction and then a lot of it gets taken down. Not all of it if, you're smart about it, but...
Only temporary.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of cool. Let's check this one out. Relics of the World's Fair Chicago, Atlas Obscura. Wow. Okay.
Now, But let's not like they had, we've seen The Greatest Showman. They could build tents and easy.
I don't think I have seen The Greatest Showman. I don't know what that is.
Is that a movie?
I don't know.
Is it the musical with Hugh, whatever his name is?
Well,
Jackman?
all right.
Hugh Jackman, yeah.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to mute though. Hey, you can read this while I'm looking it up. He said The Greatest
I
Showman,
can't
right?
read. All right, for $2, Doctor. Yes, he did. For $2, Dr. Dino, one of my favorite cultists, says there weren't any mud floods in Cali. Source geologist. Boom. I win. You lose. Boom.
Wait, there had
Thank
to be.
you.
Look, there had to be. How else do you explain all those Tartarian monuments that are in California? Huh?
By nuh-uh. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Dino. Please enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties, and vaginas.
Theatrical.
Yeah, okay, so The Greatest Showman was a movie starring Hugh Jackman and some other people. Came out in 2017. Displays a growing up in the circus people.
Structure.
By the way, the chat's talking about pizza. I do love deep dish pizza. I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah.
They
Pizza.
Hawaiian pizza is totally acceptable.
Okay, well, I don't actually have strong feelings on that matter, which is, I feel like, more controversial than anything else.
Yeah, I'm not able to talk about my love or hatred of pineapples on pizza here. I'll just say that I commonly piss people off in other chats.
we're building. We don't even make stuff like this today.
You know what?
And
That's
you're meaning
true.
to tell me they made this in a couple weeks for a temporary event?
Hang on.
But
We don't make
absolutely
anything with good craftsmanship today. Like
No,
California
nothing.
just puts up a bunch of sticks and stucco and says good luck nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't think
Building,
that-
caution, building. Like it should just be on any modern building anymore.
Right.
No, I mean we don't, and we know we don't, and that's by design because like we have a consumer culture. Everything's built to be used quickly and not stay long, anywhere from like clothing to, I mean, there are regulations in buildings, but buildings are going up, and people say this every time a building goes up, that it goes up quicker and quicker, that they're going up quicker and quicker.
Right.
And now that
And then
we're
it just-
regulating everything, I don't expect that to get better.
Yeah, well.
They just destroyed it all because they don't need it anymore.
Wow.
And you start looking into this, you realize they were doing this all over the world. These random pop-up cities.
How did they get everywhere then? Like, how did they travel all over the world?
By mud floods. Hello.
Yeah. And
Well, they
alien
rode
portals.
the mud flood and like a
They
boat?
they just uprooted them from the ground, carried them on over to America, and ta-da! How
Wait, hold
else would people know about these buildings? How else would they get here? You don't expect people to like travel, see things, and then replicate them, do you?
No,
Yeah,
never.
they can't travel all that way. They don't have a driver's license.
Right?
That was
God, Spackle.
Wait, so Maya, are you arguing that the mud flood was more like a monsoon event that happened every year and like people could use it for transportation? Because I thought it was a catastrophic civilization ending thing that somehow didn't destroy the buildings badly enough that we can't still live in them.
Yeah, but destroyed all the people. And yeah, exactly. And then just set them down, in place. And then people were like, oh, cool, a totally usable building. Let's do things with it.
Well, are they weird sex things?
No, you can't insert a building vaginally.
No. She said no.
That's where the eyes wide shut ceremony came from.
But you do obscene things in the buildings because, I mean, where else would you do obscene things?
I do them publicly.
Or
very bold.
beautifully detailed.
Let's see how it works out.
So what's the claim here? Just
So
that
the claim is
okay.
these already existed. These are left over from the Tartarian Empire or Tartarian transplants.
Well, then why take him down?
Because of the Great Reset of 1900.
Well, and how are they found all?
I mean, duh. But also, for $5, Jester says, a pinata full of special gummies is probably the most base things we will hear tonight, and string of expletives that they won't let me say in a super chat. I love Jester. He's awesome.
All over the world.
Because the Tartarian Empire was vast.
Yeah, and basically, if you're Tartaria has two meanings. The first meaning is the land of Tartary, which was a high-tech civilization.
Okay.
The second meaning is Tartaria, meaning the world as we know it was more advanced than we think it is now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like those are basically the same meaning.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking that too. Neither. Fuck it. Where's my wine? God.
Yeah,
The world,
I need to
as
get
we know
more
it, China, Africa, South America, Europe, had giant structures. We have reached at least a 19th century level of architecture and technology multiple times, and then evil people have destroyed it to reset society so they could be the richest ones.
Look,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Yeah,
okay.
because that makes sense. You know, I want to be rich. Let's just destroy society and all of its history.
Yeah, wouldn't they just take it over? I mean, that's what evil people in the United States love to do from the beginning of time, is just take it over.
Yeah, I mean, that seems... What's the point in ruling if you have to destroy... Like, you want to rule a rubble pile? I mean, some people do. Yeah, but people have weird... People have weird... dude, some people just want power. It is true. Now I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it...
if you're trying to convince me the 1990s was peak American culture and that it's only gone downhill from there, I think there's a lot of people that'll start to agree with you. No,
But I mean, when you start looking at these structures, you go, why don't we build?
Okay,
we don't
so
build
here's
stuff like that
Bloomberg
anymore.
and the rest of the neocons.
So, Card, before you get into that,
okay,
pull up the brownstone picture that I just posted in the...
This is a classic of the mud flood, and it's one of the most absurdly stupid things.
Yeah, this is going to be bad.
It's
Even for these guys.
They're arguing that this is evidence of a lost civilization. Okay, we're talking about buildings that are in the middle of New York City. It's absurd.
Yeah. So if you could get your weed, wine, whatever your thing of flavor, even a face palm is. Yeah. Let's go.
I'm actually going to run off and get some more cider. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah, I can't dispute that. Oh boy.
In the Discord?
In the Discord, yeah. First, the brownstone one.
Okay, I will totally look it up. And then, oh my gosh, there's a mud flood picture.
Not
here.
that one.
Right? Not that one?
No, the brownstone below.
Okay.
And then that one.
I'm going to pull up the brownstone building first then. Here's the brownstone building, which you so elegantly posted. A picture meant for ants. Look at that thing. It's so tiny. We're going to make it bigger for the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's
There
the
we go. Thank you.
What do you notice about the front door?
Okay, so just to poison the well for you, they think that this is evidence of a mud flood, and it's actually not because the bricks are brown, I think. I don't remember them mentioning that.
And then real quick, I want to give a shout out to Joshua G's, I think. Who gave us 5 new cult members, and that went out to Fresh Out of the Asylum, KW, Bo B, Jenna Mew, friend of the show, and B-Dub. Welcome, new cult members. Please enjoy your topical weasels, your nitty vagina. Thank you again.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
We're going to make it bigger for the audience. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the big brown.
What do you notice about the front door?
The front door is at the end of a stoop.
At the end of a staircase?
Yeah, at the end of a staircase.
Why would you have to build a staircase up to that door? What is next to the staircase?
Next to the staircase is a window.
A window?
To the bottom level.
And why do these doors look like they were once windows?
Now pull up.
To match the architecture of the rest of the building? Oh, no, that couldn't possibly be it.
Also, they don't look like they were once windows, in my opinion. They just don't. They're set out. There's a different whole thing around them. The shape has this little arch at the top. It's narrower. It's longer. They're not the same. They don't look like they used to be windows. Also,
he thinks they were.
but they're way up high. Therefore, mud flood.
To the bottom level.
And why do these doors look like they were once windows?
Now pull up the next picture.
Now pull up the next picture. Okay, I'm going to pull up the next picture. Here's the next picture. Mud flood worldwide cover up.
Look, see the brownstone looking building-esque? The door up there.
No part of this looks like a brownstone.
No. I mean, I don't. There's just so much wrong with this.
It makes no sense. Like, it doesn't. Just looking at it on its face, it's like, that's the conclusion you came to? What are you?
I mean, well, okay, yeah, this building doesn't look like the last building. So there's no reason to say that they made the last building because of whatever happened with this building.
Yeah, they real like, I don't see where they're.
And how the fuck is this worldwide?
Also, something about this looks shopped. This door looks shopped. But
I mean, could that be a basement that just got uncovered?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. I think all of this was underground and unpainted and all of that, and now they've excavated it. And I think that, like, that's the thing that happens. And also in cities, you actually do get, like, stuff gets built on top of other stuff and things like that. Especially,
that is the case in San Francisco. So, like, San Francisco covered up a bunch of trash, basically, and expanded their land with trash, and then they built on top of it. And then New York,
San Francisco,
same thing.
wild.
It's like built on top of other things. So yeah, it's not shocking. We all know that.
I mean, living in the city and in Baltimore, there's like a fuck ton of brownstones. So whenever you take part of the building away for any reason, whether it's whether there's damage or, you're pulling it away to do something else, that's what they look like. I don't know why they pulled part of the building away, but that is what happened to this, and I don't think it was carried away to another continent by a mud flood.
Yeah,
I don't know that that's that's the necessary conclusion.
Yeah,
here, but the meme says it is. So,
right?
Yeah.
One of the things that they like to bring up is that there are windows like underground, and the house I grew up in was built in the 70s, the 1970s, and we had windows in the basement, in window wells. I'm like, why? I don't really know, but I guess you could get out if somebody broke into your house, you could escape out the window well. But so it's like a thing. One time a kitty got stuck in there.
Wide cover.
Hey, remember that one time when the weasel got stuck in CERN? And we altered a horrible timeline. Thanks, weasels.
God rest his soul. That poor weasel.
The brownstone looking building-esque, the door up there. Look what's beneath it. When you unearth the
there's a
foundations.
door.
Yeah.
So apparently,
what?
That's
not a door, right? They're saying that this right here is a door. I don't know how well it comes across to you guys,
bit.
but I can see the bricks.
That's a window. I mean, there's also bricks.
It's just a wall.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
A wall. At best,
that's a window.
Yeah,
that's
at best, I'll give it that it's pointing to that window. But
oh, he means this one.
Are you
sure?
That
does look like a door.
That is a door. But is that where the arrow was pointing? Because the arrow's really far away.
No, the arrow's absolutely not pointing. It is, like if you follow it, but it's also pointing.
No, that arrow is not pointing at that door.
No, exactly. Yeah, I'm with you, but
God,
these people are so bad at making memes.
Everything. God.
Yeah.
This is all over the United States.
Really?
All of the cities from the 18th century.
So there was, instead of Noah's flood being of water, it was like there was a giant mud flood that covered up all of the greatness of the Tartarian Empire?
Essentially, yeah. And so when you ever see buildings that are on like a slope like that?
And they're saying this is worldwide.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
You know, it's a mud flood building. But basically, you're finding these aren't basements. There's entire other levels of these buildings in DC, California, all over the country, where the door, like, there's more. There's more. And literally the ground level was raised.
I hate this so much. What?
California buildings, like, when we find like an old one, we're like, there's a mission built. Like, that's about as good as we get. Like, we do not have the old buildings that the East Coast has, not even close.
Oh gosh, I haven't been to California in a while. I mean,
Fair.
Yeah, but god damn, like, I hate this picture so much. Let's move.
So they converted windows into doors. But as they're doing excavation, they're finding there's entire other stories underneath, and you're finding the actual door. And it's not one building. Hundreds of buildings are like this. It's really, really weird. I haven't found an actual, like, reasonable explanation for any of this other than...
Have you tried?
You know...
Have you tried? Because, like...
I don't think so. Like, you know, he's been scrolling through pictures all day, and apparently we're here.
It's so dumb.
Like if any of these Tartarian stuff was in San Francisco, I mean, that big old earthquake came out, and like everybody like was reduced to rubble because everything was made by bricks back then.
It was underground, right? So, yeah.
Well, as people wanted, they just decided to cover things up because it was easier. But you're going, wait, the ground level was rising? When did we have a mass ground level raise?
Well, I mean, if you bring in a bunch of stuff and you literally do build on top of like a previous foundation by filling it in and then doing that, that's how. And that actually does happen in urban areas over time. Sometimes.
And then anywhere where the plates connect to, you have shifting here and there. Like of some, like I think it's like something like, I think Australia is shifting northward like I think it was 8 meters or something every year, which is a lot faster than you think.
Yeah.
Between 1850 and now, how come that's not documented? And
okay,
so this is called mud flood, and mud flood and Tartaria are together. Okay.
He is right.
Now you might be.
Yeah.
I mean, the mud floods did the something Tartaria. Just like, you know, flood Atlantis, mud flood Tartaria. I said that earlier. Why the fuck are there 95 people here? This is wild to me.
We're amazing, Maya.
No, just me. I'm kidding. But for $6.66, my unfinished kerning journey says, Hail Nero, Hail Maya, Hail Taps, and Spackle, and Hail Fake Muddy Architecture. Thank you.
Oh,
I mean,
You're asking yourself, Kwaku, Cardin, Brad, Brittany, The Shadow, how on earth wouldn't there be people who know about this?
You don't say.
We would have records and diaries of people who were saying, hey, by the way, they're trying to cover up our...
I said that earlier.
Yeah. I watched this part of the video. I can't remember what he has to say. Like, my brain edits out the stupid.
Our society and reset us and lie about everything. Well, the theory here's where it gets creepy.
The lizard people ate those people.
No, this is a lizard. This is actually lizard people free theory, but I know I'd make a lot of money.
She's just trying to contribute, right? Like I feel like that was like a yes and moment, like an improv. You know, you have a group and they come up.
Yeah, she's just like I feel the need to say something.
It's the first time she's been on board as opposed to being like, what is happening?
Right.
Slap that down so hard.
Yeah, I'm like, She's just trying to be part of the team, guys.
Lizard people ate those people.
No, this is a lizard.
No.
This is actually lizard people free theory, but I know I'd make a lot of money if I found a way to rope them in and wrote a book about it.
I love Kwaku. He's just like, wrong theory, bitch.
Yeah. And he's like, I know it's wrong because if it were right, I'd make all this money. Trust me.
It's like, how can you be so dumb?
Basically, I hope that statement doesn't come back to haunt me. Basically,
man, Kwaku, you've made a lot of statements over the years. That is not going to be the one to come back and haunt you.
there is around the time of Tartarian conspiracists believe that the last Great Reset happened. Tartaria was too vast and wide to destroy without creating an apocalypse. So they decided they'll use technology, weather technology, to have massive amounts of rain and raise mud.
Is it the same weather technology that the Democrats use on red states? I'm just wondering. Is that where we got it from?
We got it from, the same Illuminati. There you go.
Ugh.
Oh my God.
Why are they like this?
And they have to somehow get all the richest people in the world on board with this.
Okay.
And the richest families in the world were having a meeting in New York City.
Okay.
To discuss literally the future of the world.
Which
and
families?
There are 3 people who...
All the richest ones.
Rockefellers?
Yeah.
Them too. And I'm sure the Rothschilds and it's the Illuminati. The Illuminati ones.
And the skulls.
The Trumps.
No, not them. They're the God Kings. They're
Vanderbilts.
saving us from all the Illuminati. Like, God.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be a God King. That sounds awesome.
vocally oppose this idea of a reset. Isidor Straus, Jacob Guggenheim, and what's the other guy?
Elon Musk.
No, not Elon Musk. It's a different rich guy.
Okay.
And as they were coming to New York City to meet, they all died on a boat called the Titanic.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a documentary about that once. Leonardo DiCaprio was in it. It was great.
I'll never let you go.
That's new for me. I didn't hear that when I was in the New Age community, so this is a little new. But
Snap.
I mean, a lot of people did die in the Titanic, so I mean, yeah.
Which I like. The camera guy was right there. He could have helped. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And where it gets even creepier is this. Essentially, they needed to find a way to wipe the memories of the people whose society, of the dominant country the world would revolve around.
Okay.
Because the man in black.
Okay, I've legitimately
the wrong one. What?
I've legitimately lost the plot. I actually don't know specifically who the they is that he's talking about. Like
it's always the Illuminati, which
but
you know that you would know the Illuminati because they are the richest families. It's the same thing.
Yeah, okay. It's the Illuminati is an organization with a lot of layers. Okay, a lot of layers above me, a lot of layers below me. It's a whole thing.
No,
right?
they God damn it, they sign your checks. Like, it's fine.
This is what I know.
Because if there's a guy in the Philippines who's like, let me tell you, we used to have technology that was, they'd go, okay, whatever. But
what the hell is that?
Wait. Why did the Philippines? Obviously, you didn't have technology. Yeah, whatever. What was that?
Was that a Filipino accent? That didn't sound like a Filipino accent.
I don't know what
you can at least find a way to get the mainstream on board. So look up the orphan trains.
Oh, God.
Wait. Is that in Germany to like Austria? Like which one? Which trains are we talking about?
Yeah, that's where all our minds went, I feel like.
If we're talking about the ones in America, I believe the orphan trains were early 19th century, and they took orphans from like major cities into the Midwest as farm labor.
Oh,
that is so fucked up.
I didn't know that. So you learn something
Yeah,
every day.
so that only stopped. I know about that because it stopped when we adopted our child labor laws.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I wonder how often, like like a non-orphan got caught up and like what happened.
I really thought they were going to tie it to the Nazis somehow, so I was really far
Oh,
off.
they will. They'll get there.
Oh,
But
yeah. I mean, it's not
it's
tied to the Nazis. You know, the Atlanteans are the Tartarians who fled
yeah. I'm
Atlantis, and they're the Spackle. When I said they're the Caucasian Asians, did that like not sound Nazi-ish to you?
I mean, it'd be extra Nazi if you said Aryan.
Well, okay, yeah. Usually I don't say Aryan, but okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, I guess I get your point.
Because it's like the Aryans were originally Asian, so I think that would be a little, yeah, it'd be a little confusing. But no, it's the white people that used to live in, amongst the brown people and
Right.
had the advanced technology. Wink, wink. This is a Nazi myth.
Real.
This is real.
The orphan trains.
This is real, dude.
Really and really weird.
The strangest thing.
Okay, so here's a picture of the orphan trains right here. Wanted, homes for children. And look, here's a picture of an orphan train. And
Wanted,
Wikipedia shows
homes for children. Yeah, farms need workers. So it's again,
Wow.
it started during this happened during the industrial age when people stopped working on their farms, came into the cities. You start to see the advancement of like the nuclear families, or as like the trad Christians like to call traditional families, and they're totally not. When mom would die in childbirth, the dad would die from working, because we hadn't yet set up OSHA or the laws. Children would not have parents, and orphanages would fill up very quickly. And so to get them off the state's dime, they would wink, wink, adopt them out to farms because they lost workers. It's really, really sketchy. And
It's
thank God we're
human
not doing this
trafficking.
anymore.
It's human
Yes,
trafficking.
it is 100%
Yeah.
human trafficking.
It's yeah.
It
that's
it was
exactly what this
happening
is.
across state lines. It was bad. It was so bad. Like people were being lost. I mean, because like when
Yeah, no. If
New
you
York
read
to
what's on the
LA.
screen, it's crazy.
Oh, okay. Oh,
It's cut off at the end, but they're showing the Wikipedia page, and as we know, Wikipedia never lies. Wikipedia is generally
actually,
a great
it's
source. I will say
it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, it generally is.
I didn't know about this actually, but
Me
it
neither.
doesn't
I
surprise me.
never heard of this. They were mostly the children of new immigrants and the children of poor and destitute families, not orphans. Okay. That is what I
it
take
said
from
these
that
children were.
sentence.
It says, well, okay. It says they claimed they were orphans.
They claimed they were orphaned. They were mostly the children of
They were given up. So like one of the things that happens is
Yes.
you don't have birth control and you can't say no to your husband. So you have 8, 12 kids.
No, they
And
were
you're like,
all
I can't
children.
support them.
They were all children in the system. They were going to orphanages. I did say that. I mean, whether or not they were orphans or not, they were coming from orphanages.
They were in the state. Yes. Okay,
I just wanted to comment and go. I did know about children being used as chimney sweepers, and they would actually lower a little 3-year-old, well, maybe not 3-year-old, maybe 5-year-old down because they were so little, and they'd be chimney sweepers, and they had a very low life expectancy.
Yeah, that was you would see those. There were kids like that in mines, like that would go into actual factories, and because they had little hands and little arms, like if a machine broke, like they could easily, rather than like getting like a clamp or something, you would put a 5-year-old's hand in there because there's no child labor laws.
Yeah, like little fiddly work, right?
Yeah, like I hate billionaires so much.
Yeah, it's so evil. And also, I want to do a side note because PSA. You're getting to see some child labor laws getting knocked down in both the state of Florida and Arkansas that are very alarming. And just a heads up.
The orphan train movement was a supervised welfare program that transported children from crowded eastern cities of the United States to foster homes located largely in rural areas of the Midwest. The orphan trains operated between 1854 and 1929. Geez, that's like 80 years. Relocating about 250,000 children. That's 250,000 children. The co-founders of the orphan train movement claimed these children were orphaned, abandoned, abused, or homeless, but this was not always true. They were mostly children of new immigrants and children of the poor and destitute families living in these cities. Oh my gosh, this is a massive dislocation program.
Guess what? Guess what they did?
250,000 children. That's a lot of. Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave all the kids new names.
Well, that's pretty fucked up.
I mean, yeah, it is, but it was like hardly the worst thing that had happened.
So think about that. If you're literally trying to reset society, okay, and let's say all the people who freaked out about Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, and they're trying to take children away from their parents and not let you have rights to raise your own children, and they're going to brainwash them by the state. This literally already happened in American history.
Well, I mean, look at this.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have a very sordid past.
This is why they say regulations are written in blood. That includes child labor laws. That also includes things like OSHA. And since we had OSHA established, less people died. But yeah, you see pictures. If you can dig up some pictures, like there's maimed kids that are missing parts of their hand or their arm. It's awful.
Charitable institutions, Children's Village, the Children's Aid Society, and the New York Founding Hospital endeavored to help these children. The institutions were supported by wealthy donors and operated by professional staff. Wow, if wealthy donors and professional staff never mixed together like nitrogen and glycerin to create any kind of disaster.
And then they just loaded people onto trains and put them in a better spot, right? That's never gone bad.
And there we go.
Yeah.
I mean, this, like, look at this. This is really kind of like freaky, compelling stuff. Here's a picture of Orphan Train number 1. Oh my God.
Was that a picture of Orphan Train number 1? That looked like a picture of a different thing that I've seen. Right?
Gosh. And then Wanted, Homes for Children.
Wait, why are they
stuff? Here's a picture of Orphan Train number 1. Oh my gosh. And then Wanted.
I don't know. Is that the caption under it? Is he just reading or? No, I mean, it's not a bit. No, it's fine. Okay. I mean, just because you were asking, but we can skip past this part.
I don't see a caption.
Train number 1.
It's like, they don't have any parents, so let's take them and raise them by
kidnapped kids.
Well, sometimes they were from poor communities, and we're not sure exactly what. I mean,
things get pretty tough sometimes.
But this isn't really hard to explain. Like, there's no birth control. You can't say no to your husband.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're gonna have like a million babies, and then how are you gonna support them all?
Yeah.
Well, little Johnny might either make himself into like I'm sorry, but this really did happen, especially in the Great Depression, where people off their own kids. And it's really terrible. So they probably thought they were doing a goodness, going, well, I'll save you.
Go live with the state. They'll, make sure you're fed and clothed and housed and schooled and,
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happened today, but it was orchestrated by Hillary Clinton. You would have zero excuses. You would be like, yes, say it!
Well, if the professional staff was accidentally falling and shooting itself in the back of the head for a second time after promising to leak the
Sorry, hold on. Sorry, my mic messed up.
I think it's funny that they think Hillary Clinton would organize something like that.
No, I think I think, and don't what do you call it?
Don't come for you.
Don't quote me on this. I think what he was saying was like him, the guy on the screen now, was trying to say, well, what if X, Y, or Z? And the Quake is like, don't make excuses, because if this was Hillary Clinton doing this, you wouldn't give her, benefit of the doubt or whatever.
I didn't get the sense that any of them weren't on the same page, though. Which it felt like
I don't know. I mean, because I don't know, because he's conservative, but Quako's more liberal, so they get into these spats, pretty frequently. Maybe I'm wrong.
True.
But
Yeah, they do. They totally do. But like, I felt like they disagreeing. They didn't seem like they were disagreeing. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
Or I'd be like, wow,
not a hill I'm willing to
this
die
is
on.
absolutely nuts. I mean, they were off. Okay, wow, this is crazy. So let me make sure I get this right. You're suggesting that the orphan train movement is evidence of a cover-up in which wealthy elites tried to make these orphan trains basically relocation and dislocation and disposal sites for kids that knew the truth.
No, not necessarily knew the truth. It was just that they needed a way to start brainwashing society, give them new names, and teach them a new history of the world.
Okay. And so the claim is then that orphan trains were basically engaging in a great reset of the 20th century instead of the 21st century. And
like, okay, here's the thing though, is that's the best you got for a reset. Let's do the math here. Okay, 250,000 over
80
about
years.
80 years. Yeah. That's small potatoes. That's small potatoes. That's not a great reset. There's a lot of people out there. You think that there was this huge what happened? How did it happen? And why don't we know about it? Is like it.
No one ever accused conspiracy theorists of being smart or well thought out.
I feel like I definitely have accused individual conspiracy theorists of that before. And you yell at me, even though it's my job. It's like, I don't know. It's weird that this is the hill. This is the one that I'm willing to die on, because it's like, I feel like on its face less stupid than a lot of other things, but like it's more stupid in a direct just way of like, your evidence is just stuff that I see walking down the street, and it's just not that weird.
I don't know what to say.
That the architecture, as suggested by Brad Whitbeck, of these old brownstone buildings, that shows
Are we
kind
back
of some
here?
I did not go back. I thought I did for a moment.
But I'm just like, God damn, this is nothing. Like, why?
It just got like really dark, and now we're back to architecture.
Oh my god.
I mean,
explained doors where there, are supposedly windows, and basically a first story that could have been covered up by a flood is
I'm so glad I'm not in this
his
room
mouse.
right now.
No, his mouse is on it. That's not my mouse. My mouse is green or teal or whatever that is. That's his mouse.
Like, this is nothing, my guy. I guess, you know what? If you've just come off of like this dark past of orphan trains, you're just like, can we go back to buildings? Can we just
fair enough.
I don't know, because I knew about the orphan trains and I didn't know about this. Like, this one pisses me off so much more because I'm just like, it's fucking nothing. Stop it. Where's the fuck on?
Yeah, it's also like, earlier I was like, maybe they mean by pointing the arrow, maybe they're pointing over here to the actual door. But
they are stupid. Stop accusing people
evidence
of
of this proverbial mud flood that covered the world and destroyed the evidence of the land of Tartaria.
They're pointing at a window and calling it a door. It is. Look,
no, Maya, they're pointing at a wall of bricks. Those are bricks. It's not even a window. It's not. Now you're the one giving them credit.
I mean, it could be either one, but like, it is definitely not that door all the way down yonder.
Well, I mean, okay, it might have been a window before, but now it's definitely a wall of bricks. That's definitely not glass.
Matter. Like, holy shit.
I'm about to blow your mind. I'm about to blow all of your minds.
So I got two questions for you after you blow our minds. What this has to do with the Book of Mormon, and then second off, can I show you some?
Oh yeah, they're Mormons. It's just.
It does say Midnight Mormons, although I gotta say you need to change the color of the moon and put it behind.
It gets lost in the sauce, right?
Oh, sauce! Oh, thank God for sauce.
Counterpoints. Let's keep going.
Okay. So first, one more mud flood.
My
picture.
mind is made up, Cardin, and nothing will change it.
I love you, Quake. Never change.
So here's where it gets crazy. The first one is this.
Okay.
With this reset
Yeah.
that they
What
propose.
reset?
One, they couldn't get rid of all the evidence of the ancient world. First, you saw the structures that they had to
Okay.
cover up and pretend were newly built.
Okay.
And you said people who they remember, they know it was handed down. They have the information. Well, when you start having to vet every single book, when you have mass book burnings, which occurred back then, mass book burnings that occurred,
Yeah.
you could pretty easily start shaping the future.
So I know that book burnings did occur in the United States, but
Have
like
most of them been recently?
I feel like
they
yes.
came pretty hard on maybe I should change my phrasing. They they were really upset at Catcher in the Rye. They thought it was a doorway to communism.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so when I think of like book burnings as being like a thing that is I find really like antithetical, it's when the state is doing it. Like if the state
Right.
is going around burning books and banning things, and confiscating and destroying them like on
Yeah,
mass.
that would be bad, and that's that's bad. I mean, when Greg Locke
But-
does it, you look at him and
Yeah,
laugh.
if
I mean, it's tragic, certainly, but
it is like if you have a bunch of people who decide that they're gonna burn their books, like it makes me sad. But like,
I
it
mean, it's
depends
not it's not
yeah,
on par
it's
with
their right.
like, yeah,
It's also their
the
right.
whole state
like,
of Florida deciding that anything LGBT
Yes,
needs to be
yes.
taken out of libraries, or we're going to shut the library down. Totally different.
Yeah, the state doesn't have the right to destroy and censor content like that in this country.
Actually, speaking of book burning, digital book burning is a thing, and they did replace the main librarian, the head librarian of the Library of Congress, because they were too
Yeah.
quote unquote woke, and they're like, "What do you
Yep.
mean you have woke material?" And they're like, "We have all the material. What are you talking about?"
So yeah, the
that's
current
their job.
administration has decided that the Library of Congress is not the Library of Congress and needs to be handed over to them so that they
propaganda
could properly whitewash history. Yeah.
I like history that's accurate, and I didn't know about I'm just gonna I didn't know anything about the Oklahoma City bombings from was it the 1920s or whatever, the Black Wall Street. I knew nothing about that until I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
I did nothing about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. 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 Let's go.
At least by 1970, you have an entire different history. But the only way people would be able to have the truth about the advancement of the ancient world is if there was some group that created a breakaway society in the middle of nowhere, unaffected by these orphan trains, that had a history or record of an ancient society that was far more technologically advanced. They would be the only ones to be able who could actually fight against this plan.
Did that make sense to anyone?
Well, I know where they're going with it, and so does this guy. He's talking about a bunch of reclusive, zealotous, filled with zealotry people who, they started in Ohio and then they went to Nauvoo, Illinois for a while and got into a few wars with the state of Missouri, as one does. And then they went to Utah. And they believe in an ancient civilization with advanced technology that was then lost. Like iron and steel weapons and horses and carriages and chariots and things like that. I am, of course, talking about the Mormons.
Yeah.
As one does.
Oh, so you're suggesting that Lehi and his family was the sleeper cell that escaped the Great Reset of the previous centuries in order to preserve the history of Tartaria?
Oh.
I mean, that's a way more hilarious way of saying it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. God damn it.
What a champion. What an absolute unit.
Well, I would say more Brigham Young.
Sorry, I'm sorry, not
Brigham
Lehi and
Young,
his family. Yeah,
the
I
church,
apologize.
Which is literally, our church is a breakaway civilization. 100% that's what it is. Breakaway civilization, middle of the desert. We have the books about
That's a little bit true in the sense that they were because Mormons were viewed as a threat because of the land grab, and at that time they were marrying multiple wives.
Yeah.
They were considered a threat because of the inheritance and how much land they could accrue. Like they actually, for practical reasons, didn't like them, not just Christian zealotry.
I mean, they were also like pretty violent.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they were awful to the Native Americans. Terrible.
Aunt Cher's never gonna let me live this down. The word I was looking for was zealous.
Oh, okay, gotcha. She's
zealotous.
It's
Zealots,
fine. It's fine.
yeah.
Thank you.
Pedantic.
Zeal.
It's her kink. We don't kink shame here.
I am also. That's why I know she's never. I done.
Okay, look, we're talking about Mormons and how stupid these ones are. We're not kink shaming Aunt Jer.
The ancient technology, the ancient Book of Mormon, Book of Mormon. Guess what was here once? Guess what was here once? Don't forget it. As the orphans are getting new names and relearning all the history. Now, there's still maps of Tartary. There's all this stuff still. But it is really interesting that you've got where now is nothing, the Chicago World Fair, which looks like downtown Boise, Idaho.
Yeah.
Built in a week. All over.
Well, now it's 1 week. It's not.
Was it built?
Read a book.
Was it built or did it come on the mud flood? Where are we going with this? Like, what do we?
Like he's mocking the idea that it was built because it's impossible that it was built. That it was not built in a week. It was built in a very short amount of time.
Sure.
And the thing is, they were still building it while the thing opened. Like they put a facade on everything, and then they still they were doing construction well into the fair. It was a whole thing because the fair was open for months. Like people would arrange to visit, in the third. Yeah.
Argentina has it. Everywhere has it.
Wait, there's Tartarian stuff in Argentina?
Oh, for sure.
La Casa Rosada?
This picture that you're looking at right now?
Yeah.
That's in Australia.
Okay, so I'm going to put this on the screen so all of our audience.
All right. I mean, I have no explanation. Clearly, the mud flood happened. Like those are obviously garage doors for individual cars, right?
It looks like Petra or something that they use for like Indiana Jones, like on the bottom there. What's going on there?
I don't know. I mean, these actually just look like I don't know, fucking pillars or something. These do not really look like windows. They look like drainage things. Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Can see it. You're suggesting that all of this understructure.
Clearly, they don't know what the fuck they're looking at either. This is ridiculous. All right, so I mean, assuming I don't know, I should probably read the chat. Assuming this is an actual photograph and not whatever. I mean, it just looks like
it doesn't look like a photograph. Look at it. Look at the stuff that is real. Mm-hmm. Does this look like a photograph?
None of it looks real to me. I'm not saying it's not real. Somebody somewhere might say, "Hey, this is an actual city, in Amsterdam or some shit when they drain a lake."
I can imagine that.
And then, those are the basements, and that I could imagine that. But, I mean, to say that it was a goddamn mud flood that took away all that part of the street and just left the city intact, it doesn't make any kind of sense from the perspective that they're trying to make it. Whatever.
Side note, over by Atlanta,
I'm having a heart attack.
Over by Atlanta, there's a huge fucking lake, and that fucking lake is a flooded lake that they intentionally flooded, and they flooded a town. And rumor has it, I don't know if this is true or not, that the lake is haunted because some people were still in the town refusing to leave.
Is evidence of a mud flood.
The very first show we ever did of Bad Science Sunday was about
Ghost.
Hauntings and stuff. Oh.
It wasn't about the haunted lakes of people who were intentionally drowned, but it was about ghosts.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of mysterious lake deaths, like the it is kind of weird how the Glee lady died, just randomly. The girl from Santana in Glee.
Oh, no,
I
I
don't
did
remember
not
her real
hear
name,
about that.
but she was really cute. Anyway, she was on California Lake. I can't remember which one it was, but like it wasn't Tahoe, it was the other one. But anyway, she somehow had a couple of white claws, and then I'm guessing for some reason couldn't get into the boat, but she put her son into the boat and saved her son, and then somehow she drowned. But like nobody knows how or why, and it seemed kind of random. But why was she by herself? I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
she was my age. Damn.
Yeah, it sucks.
Well, aren't you just a beacon of great news?
I didn't know you didn't know. Sorry.
Right.
That's 3 cast members from that show dead in one way or another.
We're talking about Tartaria, dude. Damn.
Well, yeah,
Sorry.
to be fair, Tartaria involves genocide. We're talking about 3 individuals.
But
Although
there are
it's
no
a fictional genocide,
Tartarians.
so yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, it didn't happen. Why are you not playing?
But I do know the ones I have seen, and it is weird that in all these major cities, whenever they excavate, there's like 3 floors below that are not a basement. It's like that was the rest of the building.
Okay, well,
Nobody has yet has explained
That's the way the Batcave is.
Wait. How do we determine that the 3 levels of the Photoshop picture are not a basement? Because I'm seeing a street and then sub-levels. That's a train in the left. That is a train.
Oh,
What?
here?
That's just like at the top. I mean, it looks like a train or
Yeah, no, that looks like a train station. Absolutely, that looks like a train station.
So what? It's just like floating and like 2 floors up. Like I don't.
Yes, like if you look at it, yes, it is. If you look at how this undercuts, this thing is just floating and sticking out. Well, this isn't real.
Yeah,
this doesn't make any sense.
No,
this would
now, but like it wouldn't have been built like that. Like if you look on the right side, there are fucking cars. They're not on a bridge. Like this was obviously it just an internal critique. This was like either realistic. Water or something that was, and like if we were to imagine that this is real, like they are. It looks like water was sucked out of something so that they could work on the structure. And so for him, what?
Sorry, I was going to say the part of this that looks the most real is the very bottom of it. Like the texture of this ground right here, that looks kind of real. Nothing else looks real to me.
But for him to let's just play.
I have seen, it is weird that in all these major cities, whenever they excavate, there's like 3 floors below that are not a basement. It's like that was the rest of the building.
Okay, well,
nobody has yet explained
That's the way the Batcave is.
There's no way that's the rest of it. Those were only basements in that picture.
Also, I'm not sure they were almost anything in that picture.
No, I'm just saying, if we're doing an internal critique of the picture, like it's like doing
a role reversal. You're not
right.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, to critique what he's saying, like those would have been regular in that picture. No, that was not. Those were not regular floors, even according to the picture. Those would not have been above ground. Indeed. In a normal whatever. And Indeed. Then Sumami, I don't know. She said it's from 1971 to 1973. I don't know if she's talking about the picture or what, but I don't know.
So here's my suggestion. I entertain this idea of there being lost civilizations and especially lost technologies that we don't understand, because technologies have a tendency to lose themselves, just like our health does. It almost seems like we're built to destroy our own personal health, and unless we work really, really hard at it, we don't keep ourselves healthy.
Part of that, I'll grant, because like the pyramids continue to surprise us. It doesn't mean it's secret alien technology or anything like that, but they continue to surprise us how complex it is,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, the pyramids are some of the most amazing structures that have ever been built, and given what they were working with, I would still say probably the most amazing structure. But
yeah, but There's just so many amazing structures. I mean, definitely the pyramids above ground, but like have you ever seen like the ancient underground cities? I think and like they had you know like underground like water like networks and sewage
Like
and
plumbing that goes up
Aqueducts.
and down.
yes
Like it's not easy to do that. Like pumping
no
stuff up is not.
yeah
Like the
even today.
the aqueducts like were mostly downhill, is my understanding. They may have had some things, but
I don't know what the fuck they did. It was really amazing though, and ancient humans continue to amaze me. So
Yeah.
it's
There are some
But-
things where you're just like fascinated, and then when you see like them plunge into a dark age, like it's so disappointing because like there's like a lot of like advancement and take 5 steps back, and
Yeah.
like I feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're experiencing in America right now. We advance and then we're going to take 5 steps back.
Yeah, yes, but I don't think that the like world. So, and I'm going to talk strictly technologically and scientifically speaking.
Okay.
The United States is, I think, definitely going to be slowing down, based on the absolute nonsense that is happening to how science is treated in this country. But like the entire world, you can't put this genie back in the bottle. It would require a truly catastrophic world war that basically meant people don't have time to do science. They have to like survive.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, you have to lose literacy to go into a true dark age. I feel like if you have widespread literacy,
Mm-hmm.
I mean widespread. Like if only 50% of people can read, then then you're gonna have people who are like, oh, I know, like I can like solve this problem and I can write it down and share it with people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle in the way that all of these lost ancient civilizations require.
I think 3 generations to 4 generations, you could really smash literacy.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, but we're not.
All games are off. Yeah.
No, and we're not talking about literacy. Like, how fast can you like obliterate literacy? It's how fast can you obliterate technology, or or even slow it down. And humanity really takes leaps and bounds when we're able to share information. We've gotten it to an electronic age to where it's at our fingertips at this point. And I just don't see that, having one nation be, even with America, they were taking down the current regime is taking down a lot of things from the government websites, and then you have people even using just the Wayback Machine to grab information from the National Institute of Health and other sources, so that they can keep the information. So the information is still there. We can still grow. And then we also have what Gutsy Gibbon calls one of the biggest brain drains of our nation. But which is horrible. Which is horrible for the country, but as a species, we are retaining the knowledge. So it is, at least it's not being lost. I hate it too.
Yeah,
but
France is like, come on over, y'all.
Yeah, but the good part is that the information isn't being lost.
But I
hear you.
Yeah, no, we're all on the same page. Yes. We are. Like,
everybody in the chat is on the same page too. Sorry, this is a huge loss for the country.
And I know somebody else very important and very intelligent agrees with me. Let's just listen to what Elon Musk had to say.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, good. Ketamine boy.
You can't get out of it. Holy shit. All right.
Intelligent agrees with me. Let's just listen to what Elon Musk had to say on the topic a second ago.
69.
So bloated.
Pizza in 19.
Do we have to? Can we skip? What's the next section? I can't.
I love hating on Elon.
Okay.
69, we were able to send somebody to the moon. 1969. Then we had the space shuttle. The space shuttle could only take people to low Earth orbit. Then the space shuttle.
But it was reusable, sort of.
And the United States could take no one to orbit. So that's the trend. The trend is like.
Yo, you name a time when the United States has not been able to take anybody to orbit. And you're going to interject and be like, not with their own stuff. Yeah, but they don't need to. They have other people's stuff.
Name a time when Elon Musk designed anything.
He has like I'm a huge fan of like the stuff that SpaceX has accomplished.
Did he design any of it, or did he just fund it?
Yes, I mean he's not a rocket scientist, okay? And SpaceX.
Does he know that?
No, he probably. That's a good question. I'm not sure what he would answer if you asked him. Which is
I'm sorry. Go
wild.
ahead. I keep cutting you off.
I think because he's on ketamine, like I'm sorry, but like in a probably an uncontrolled way, ketamine. One of the side effects of ketamine is that you feel 10 feet tall. Like you just love yourself. Like that's why they put people in depression on it, because you start to love yourself. And he really loves himself. Like I think he does think he's a genius.
He does. He does think he's a genius. Yeah.
Down to nothing.
Interesting.
This is not no one to orbit. So that's the trend. The trend is like down to nothing. This is not.
He's cherry picking. He's cherry picking a very limited perspective of basing the technology of just stuff generally on how far NASA specifically was able to transport people using stuff that they entirely researched and built themselves. That is a pigeonhole.
So in his mind, I mean, what is the shuttle? What is the Endeavor to him? Or, like, does the International Space Station not count because it wasn't American enough? Like, what is he talking about?
No, but it's a downgrade. The shuttle couldn't take us to the moon.
Okay, but they didn't want to because of the expense.
Now you're making excuses, but the sad fact of the matter is that technology, like a chunk of carbon-14, inevitably decays. Or something.
Or something.
People are mistaken when they think that technology just automatically improves. It does not automatically improve. It only improves if a lot of people work very hard to make it better. And actually, it will.
Like,
right, so yeah, true? Let's just defund everything and close all the colleges down.
Yeah. Also, that's the thing about a society, like the one we live in. You do have a whole lot of people doing exactly that. Like,
yeah.
Some of them work for universities. Some of them work for private companies. Some of them are doing it as a hobby in their free time. Some of them work for the government. It's a huge cross-section of different people. So let's defend it. You fucking ass.
I think it by itself degrade, actually.
What does that mean?
You stopped. I thought you knew.
You look at great civilizations like ancient Egypt, and they were able to make the pyramids, and they forgot how to do that. And the Romans.
Okay, so he's talking about the regression that happens in different societies, and that is true.
We still know we know how they made them. We choose not to do that because, goddamn, who would do that?
Yeah, there are details that we don't know, but yes.
Aqueducts were lost for a while, actually, when Rome and everything finally fell. Okay. It was lost for a while. Yeah.
Things.
They went back to throwing like sewage in the road and shit.
Yeah.
I'll go back and forth on that. But I think that a lot of they were incapable of keeping up with the technology because of the position that they had been placed in. They had been stripped of everything. So, yeah. It's kind of like what Vandy was saying earlier. It's like, when you take people out to a point where like they're foraging for food. It's like all they can do to get food on the table. They're going to stop doing,
innovation.
Yeah, they're going to stop innovating. And I don't know that it was. I mean, yeah, you could say it was lost, but it was because it wasn't utilized, not because, and it was an economic regression. It, I don't think it's like part and parcel with what he's talking about right now.
What he's talking about is a very superficial, surface level comparison of individual, like, highly qualified chains of technology and how you prioritize their outcomes compared to his arbitrary bullshit about how if it doesn't go to the moon, it's not as good. That's neither does an elevator. Guess what? I still use them every day.
Yeah.
But he's going to talk about the Romans.
And we gained a lot of technology from NASA. Like, the only reason why we have cell phones and things like that is NASA. Like, over time,
Oh my God. Yeah, we have so GPS. Like, we could go on and on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Let's go. Sorry.
Aqueducts. They forgot how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty intense right there. I mean, Elon Musk brings up some really good points.
He does not. I'm sorry.
Normally, I yell at the microphone like that.
I'm just mad because he's so stupid, and I don't like it when people talk about him like he's smart, because like he's just, anybody who's smart would not be making any of the decisions that he has made this year. Period.
He's
Intelligence does not mean wisdom.
He's clever enough to surround himself with innovators and intelligent people and invest in those people. And you hear more about his successes than failures, but that doesn't mean that he's the innovator. It doesn't mean that he's the inventor.
Yeah.
These civilizations that lost the collective knowledge of how they even built their own ruins before their civilizations collapsed. And that's why they say civilization dies with a whimper instead of a big bang, right? So I entertain the idea of there being lost civilizations and technologies. At the same time,
I also entertain the idea of there, I guess, being lost civilizations and technologies, but in a very normal way. Like, yeah, we're going to be like, oh, hey, we didn't know that there was a people with a culture and a writing system that lived in this area and did this thing. If you have, because I think technically a writing system is required to be defined as a civilization, which is bullshit, but I think that's technically true in some contexts. I don't know. If you find that literally anything you find that they did is like new technology, because they're going to do pottery differently and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, we have ways of knowing whether a civilization was actually there. Graham Hancock.
Yeah.
Just because you don't know something doesn't mean it's not known. Just saying.
I do not engage in historical presentism or arrogance towards the people before me, thinking they're idiots, or
don't you though?
That everything must be a conspiracy against them, because take a look at this video right here. This always blew my mind. It's hard for me to believe in a mud flood when I can look at an 8-story.
I mean, this video disproves mud flood.
Let me see.
I mean, it proves mud flood.
Well, wait, I forget about this part. Let me see what is he saying about the building?
Oh, I don't know.
This always blew my mind. It's hard for me to believe in a mud flood when I can look at an 8-story, 11-ton Indiana Bell building getting rotated 3 inches a day.
All right, I did forget about this. No, he actually is arguing against the mud flood. So I withdraw the tone of what I previously said, because it was clearly implying that he thought this was evidence for it. I was totally wrong. This is actually like a really cool part of this video.
Yeah, this is really cool.
11-ton Indiana Bell building getting rotated 3 inches a day.
That's so cool.
On tracks that the city.
They rotated this building, guys. Like,
no, that is really. I mean, because I don't know, the visuals sometimes, like when I'm going through videos, I'm listening to them at like 2 times speed to see if I want to go through the content. So a lot of times I'm seeing the visuals for the first time.
Yeah, no, me too. I was listening to this, but I didn't actually
They
watch
built
it.
for it to rotate it 90 degrees as they wanted to change a street that was running through that area. I mean, look at these amazing things that human beings can do when they put their engineering minds towards.
Yes.
That's really
Thank you. Yes. Like, this is why whenever we cover Ward Radio, I always, like, I can never go at them, like, too hard because they do have a lot of that reaction of, like, yo, this is
wait, what?
Yeah, they have the wait what? They do. They have a little bit of the wait what. They don't have enough of it. But it's there. It just hasn't been cultivated properly.
I never have seen this before either. I feel like I'm learning new things.
Right? Me neither. Like he's gonna drop some more cool information.
By the way, did you know that everybody reported to work in that building as it was moved? It moved 3 inches a day for like, I don't know, like 6 months or something like that. And everybody reported to work inside of that building, connecting telephone wires and stuff like that, the whole time the building was moving. So if
that's cool. When was this? Did he give a date? Because these
what's the name of the building?
Indiana
it was
building
running through that area. I mean, look at these amazing things that human beings can do when they put their engineering minds towards it. By the way, did you know that everybody reported to work in that building as
30s.
Yeah.
Indiana Bell Building.
Yeah. That sounds right.
I'm thinking of Metropolis, that movie, you know?
Moved 1930.
1930. So that sounds like it would have been like a New Deal project, maybe? Perhaps. Or was that not until... Did he not get voted in until 32?
No. Yeah, because that would have been the year after the Depression. Or
Yeah. No, he didn't show up. Yeah, he didn't show up until 32, I guess. So that would have still been Hoover.
FDR would be called a communist these days.
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, I mean...
Like, he'd be called worse names than Bernie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the New Deal was kind of questionable in some ways. Like, it had a good result, but, like, the way...
Well, yeah, I mean, the same people that hate, quote-unquote communism now are the same people that hated that then. Americans were very happy with it, but, fuck us.
Yeah, I mean, it is true that the thing that really pulled us out, though, was the war and the injection of money from outside that.
Unfortunately, we depended on war. I mean, that's like most of our budget, and that's like
but
so many
it was
industries
also
on it.
Kind of us being selfish assholes, not willing to jump into the war,
right?
Yeah,
as it was moved. It moved 3 inches a day for like, I don't know, like 6 months or something like that. And everybody reported to work inside of that building, connecting telephone wires and stuff like that, the whole time the building was moving. So if Brad is saying that this picture right here...
For the record, if they were actually connecting telephone wires at their job, that intrinsically means a whole lot more work because those telegraph wires or telephone wires are going into a moving building.
Yeah, they'd have to splice a lot and rerun.
That's a lot. Yeah, right. Like that's a lot of coax that you got to lay down.
And I'm picturing the operators back then. They like had little boards and they're like, "I'll connect you to Mr. Robinson. Just a moment, please."
Yeah.
That has doors and windows and an inconspicuous.
Again, I feel like this is the mascot picture of this video.
Might be evidence of a mudflood worldwide cover-up. How would he react perhaps to this building slowly getting moved and then ending up in a spot where, oh my gosh, why are the windows 90 degrees from where they were supposed to have been before? I think we could easily engage in a little bit of...
Real quick. People worked inside the Indiana Bell building while it was being rotated 90 degrees. The 22 million pound structure was moved 15 inches per hour over the course of a month, and 600 employees continued their work without any disruption to essential services like gas, heat, electricity, water, sewage, or even the telephone service that they provided.
That's insane.
Isn't that cool?
You have to, because think of all of the plumbing and stuff that you have to do to provide all of those other things.
This is why I was looking it up. I'm like, there's no fucking way. Because, I'm thinking electricity, plumbing, like telephones, like how the fuck do you do that? Where do they enter in? They did it. They figured it the fuck out.
You know, they probably had to have somebody design like a custom, like flexible manifold for a lot of those things, because plumbing is not designed to be rotatable, right?
Right.
Like if you grab a building and you rotate it 360 degrees to put it back where it is, you've destroyed everything.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? But I mean,
carefully, very carefully, and you plan ahead. And you probably have to get people to design like custom individual stuff. And then you know what? Then they throw out that part because they don't need it to move another building by rotating it 15 degrees that has exactly the same plumbing. Therefore, it's lost technology.
Nowadays, they just implode it and rebuild something else.
Yeah, they're just gonna move it. You know what? We're not. We don't need this building anymore. We're just gonna go to that building.
Yeah, they're apparently they thought that was like the calculus to do it at that time.
I mean, good on them. People amaze me all the time.
Like there was last week there was a day when I was on my commute where 2 entire lanes of the interstate were taken up by a train of like 3 vehicles that were carrying chunks of a building.
Yeah.
And they were like filling up the whole 2 lanes. I was like, I like wanted to pull up and look in and be like, Al, is that you?
Manufactured buildings have gotten way better than they used to be. Way better.
Yeah. And I was like, why is the thing so slow? And I was like, that's why they're taking up 2 entire lanes.
Historical arrogance, right?
Cardin, that's what they want you to think. Now look at this video that I have. Look at this new evidence that I posted in the Discord, okay?
Okay, I'm going to look at the new evidence that is posted in the Discord. Oh my gosh, man, you guys make me nervous here.
Look at this uncovered foundation.
Okay, that's a big one for Tartarian truthers. Is that?
This one is a big one for Tartarian truthers, you say?
The Salt Lake Temple.
Shut up. This is a picture of the Salt Lake Temple?
That's the foundations of the Salt Lake Temple, bro.
Oh my gosh, are you really suggesting that the foundations of the Salt Lake Temple are a Tartarian mud flood conspiracy theory proof?
Are you going to tell me that those Mormons crossed all the way across the plain?
This guy understands the assignment.
And built that in the middle of the desert?
Okay, also, did Governor Boggs, was it the extermination order? Was that because
when was the temple built in Lake City? I've seen the Mormon temple in LA. It looks kind of art deco, actually.
I imagine the one in Salt Lake City is pretty impressive because that's like their pride and joy, right?
The Mormon temple, like here in San Diego, looks like
it's temporarily closed.
It looks like something from Star Wars.
Are they rotating it, Maya?
Oh, yep. I can see the wheels. I'm fucking with you. Opened.
Man, you got me all excited.
Holy shit. Opened April 6th, 1893. God, this thing is grand.
That's pretty early.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, I will say, if I had to live in a community with only one type of structure, it would be grand cathedrals. Because they have just the coolest shit.
This thing is immaculate. God damn.
Yeah.
Okay, well now you got to show it, Maya.
Temples is impressive.
Is it white and delightsome?
It of course. Of course. But yeah, like, moving on. Everybody here has internet.
Girl.
Oh.
By the way, I just want to contrast this. I just want to contrast this.
Okay, and also, did Governor Boggs, was it the extermination order?
So she's again piping in and making a contribution to the conversation.
Is that because of
Shut up, Meg.
Extermination
to
order.
Exterminate?
And everybody except for Kwaku immediately is like, oh, hey, good point.
Get rid of them?
I'm now just going to start adding that on. I've done no research into it, but I'm going to choose to believe it.
Now, so check it out.
That was so...
To get rid of them?
I'm now just going to start adding that on. I've done no research into it, but I'm going to choose to believe it.
I've done no research into it, but I'm going to choose to believe it.
No, that is classic Kwaku.
Title of my sex tape.
Now, so check it out.
The best thing,
and look at the Salt Lake Temple itself.
We can't. Maya didn't want to show it.
Wow. Okay.
Look at it. Show the
banned.
picture.
Okay.
Do you see the evidence of Tartarian architecture, like we've discussed?
Well,
The evidence of Tartarian architecture. I mean, obviously, the Mormon temple exists. Therefore, Tartaria.
oh, it is almost as beautiful
not
as
necessarily
the
that
Chicago
one.
World's Fair. And
And to be fair, the Salt Lake Temple is being renovated right now. Like, we generally do that.
That's what they want you to think, Kwaku.
that's just because your ancestors were on that orphan train and they got their memory wiped and they don't remember the mud flood.
Well,
Hey man, Kwaku, I feel you as somebody who is always held to account for what my ancestors did. I'm just saying.
here's the thing, though. I will
Okay.
say mudflood is about as believable as mass building rotators. It's also a somewhat unbelievable schizophrenic sentence.
You saw a time lapse of it, dude. There were photos. You could even call it a video, but it's a time lapse. It's not really a video.
Yeah, but still,
Tomato, tomato.
we don't have one of those for a mud flood that spans Asia to Chicago via LA
Both
and Salt
directions,
Lake
yeah.
City.
Yeah,
because
and New York.
was-
Remember the brownstones?
Oh,
It was suppressed by the richest families, y'all.
oh, duh. Yeah.
We are a proud people.
We've got to be like the children of orphan trained kids.
But my grandpa came
I'm
off the
not.
boat like, so how am I orphan kid?
Oh, God.
No, it's not. No, that's real. Look at this. This is a video.
Man, I can't reach that pitch. I'm jealous.
I know, but
So is
here's the thing.
Tartaria.
Like, an average person has never heard of that. It looks almost Charlie Chaplin and silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We've
really
never
good.
learned about that in history
That
either.
looks
As
pretty
much as we also never
photoshopped to
learned
me,
about
Card.
Dude, come on. Oh, that's a lot of reaching.
This
That's a
does not
lot
look
of
chopped.
reaching.
This looks like an old, kind of grainy, 1930s
Of all the
photograph.
video, of all the pictures
It doesn't
that
look
we've seen,
chopped.
of everything that they've provided today, this is the least shopped looking thing that has happened. And I also verified it on the internet. So like that
Yeah.
is the thing. Like I saw this happening. And again, I wasn't flirts. I wasn't there, but like there's a lot of evidence for this.
And
I also
you-
want to
you
say
know-
instead of Charlie Chaplin, it's more Buster Keaton style.
Okay. Still. For $2, team O and B, woefully dogmatic chronostatic centrism. He doesn't like having names that I can pronounce. I'm sorry. What about Boston's Great Molasses Flood of 1919? I want to say that's
Not a
not
mud
thing.
flood.
Not a
What?
mud flood.
Molasses flood?
I have
Oh,
never
yeah,
heard of it.
You've never heard that? Oh, this is
No.
This is a famous. People died, I think.
Is
People
it,
excited.
is it
People
worse
died.
than the maple fights of Canada?
It's different. So the Great Maple Heist of Canada
Mm-hmm.
was equally, if not more, hilarious because nobody died. I don't know if anybody actually died in the molasses flood. A giant building with a huge silo vat of molasses ruptured. And a huge wave of molasses went flying down the streets of Boston or something.
Oh my god!
And-
It did.
and-
Holy shit!
Wow.
And it was a whole thing. It was
It
was
a
a big
whole
deal.
Thing. Like,
like
my
it wasn't
God.
the entire city, but it was several blocks got really, really fucked up by just an enormous, just like God's middle finger amount of molasses.
We need to have another show too that says it's gonna be called Weird History.
I don't. Oh, what can I do?
Yeah,
But
people did die, right? Like, so it was like, I think at least.
Wow, can you imagine how sticky that would be?
Yeah, that is horrible.
It killed 21
Image.
people.
Yeah, I would imagine getting out of the molasses would be difficult.
Yeah. Like even a competent swimmer could potentially drown in that.
Yeah, definitely. Hold up. Okay.
If you don't know how to handle it. By the way, the way to handle it is to stop struggling, take a deep breath, and just float up.
Treat it like quicksand.
Yeah. If you can take a deep breath, take a big deep breath, and then keep your lungs as full as possible.
But it looks the same as the.
Right?
That's crazy.
It was nuts. But
how do you clean that up?
Slowly?
Yeah, or rain mostly.
They didn't have shop vacs back then.
Also rats. Rats probably took care of a lot of it. Which, then you got a rat problem. And ants. Oh, can you imagine the ants?
Oh, the ants.
All right.
Okay. So what is it saying? The Great Molasses Flood, also known as the Great Boston Molasses Disaster, occurred in 1919. Large storage tank filled with 2.3 million U.S. gallons of molasses weighing approximately 13,000 tons burst, and the result wave of molasses rushed through the streets at an estimated 35 miles an hour.
A 35-mile-an-hour wave of molasses.
Killing 21 people and injuring 150.
That is wild. I never heard of this one either.
Oh, man. Well,
I didn't know about the orphan trains. I didn't know about the molasses wave.
Spackle,
I am learning all kinds of stuff today.
Spackle,
welcome to the show.
Have you heard about the great maple syrup heist of Canada?
I'm not looking that up.
No, you don't have to. But
familiar. No, that one sounds
that is a hilarious story. It remains the single, I think, largest theft in dollar amount in Canadian history, and definitely in volume of quantity stolen. All right. Well,
all right, Spackle, thank you for coming. Has it been a year? It's been about a year, yeah. Since
it's been a while. Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been good.
Awesome. Well, we probably have we definitely have a totally new crowd than when you did your elevator pitch. Would you like to tell everybody who you are, where you are, and what you do on your channel?
Hi, I'm Holy Spackle. I'm in California, and I
where do they find you?
Where did you can find me at the Holy Spackle, and I'm pretty unique in the name, so it pops up. An atheist named me and said that I like to smooth over cracks in the wall when it comes to apologetics. That's what he was joking about, but also in relationships as well. I kind of slid into weirdo watching, as what I would call it, occasionally, but I also like really good discussions. I am kind of, as far as religion goes, I'm focused on things like fighting deconversion therapy is something I'm interested in fighting against, or like harmful things like Christian counseling, things like that. I'm against a lot of the things that go awry in churches. So I talk about it a lot. It's not that I'm anti-Christian. It's that I am anti-spiritual abuse, and it bothers me a lot. So, yeah, I talk about a lot of different subjects.
You are a Christian. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm a progressive.
Are you still progressive?
I'm a progressive Christian.
So it depends on who you ask as to whether or not you're a Christian.
Right, yeah.
The no true Christians, or the, what do you call it? The evangelicals do not claim you.
Yeah, they won't, because I'll break loose from them in a lot of things, but yeah.
So Dr. Tapioca Weasel has gifted himself 5 more cult members, and those went to Hank Says, Earthly Skeptic. All right. Mary Beth Bellin. Mark Reed.
Not Bellend. Sorry.
I said Bell. I didn't say D. I didn't put a D in there.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking
to you. Okay, gotcha. Mark Reed is a friend of the show. He'll be on next month. Peter Guns. Yeah, that's 5. All right, welcome. Cool. Enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties and vaginas, new cultist. I'm sorry, Spackle. Did I step on you?
No, not at all.
How often do you go live? Like once every other month, or how does that work?
You know,
You went live twice last week, so does that
I
mean we don't get to see you for half a year?
I'll just tell you my little sob story. I had long COVID, and it's really messed me up the last 5 years. So and because I work at a desk, and I just feel like the last thing I want to do is sit on a desk, and so I haven't been feeling very well. But because it left me with chronic autoimmune issues and pain. But now I'm on Cymbalta, which is actually helping me with pain, and I felt really, really
Nice.
good. And this is a new thing. This is like the third week on. And compared to the hole that I've been in the last 5 years to now, I'm just like, okay, I have a little bit of tired, I have fatigue, but it's not like it was before. Anyway, the long story short is I've been feeling better, and I felt like really, really feisty. So I went live twice, and it's been like 6 months or something. And also, I had a co-host who passed away from cancer, and that was kind of hard because, you imagine, if your co-host passed away from cancer, you'd feel kind of sad about it. So it took me a while. Exile passed away, and so it was really hard for me to process. And then I knew that anytime I went live, I'd have to answer a bunch of questions and stuff, and I was just sort of overwhelmed at the time. So I took a lot of breaks, but. That's the internet. You have to take breaks for your own mental health. And I feel
100%.
a lot better. So I might be going live more often now.
All right. No, yeah. You're part of the old guard. Like, you're one of the few people on the internet older than me. We're the same age, but that yeah. I've been here for a while, and I want to say only you and Titan. Well, Simos has been around longer than me, and there's a couple of other kids around, but it's kind of weird being an old head.
Right.
But you were old when I met you. God.
Yeah, I'm old news. So.
And I don't even remember how. I want to say we met on that Transphobes channel.
I think so. Yeah, I started seeing you around there, and then also Ethan's channel. He's now Dom. Yeah, Prolib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prolib's friend of the show. I gotta get him back on later this year.
I'm quite fond of him. I like him.
He's pretty cool. Yeah, and I'm glad he came back. But he's been in the community about as long as I've been, and which is actually where I met Titan. We were fighting with each other in Prolib's chat, which is funny to me.
Yeah. I was gonna say something I forgot. Oh, back when I started, more modernized, progressive Christians were called the emerging church, and now it's called deconstruction. Deconstructed.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And deconstructed is people that are knocking down dogma, and some of them will become atheists, and some of them won't, but they're deconstructing from their dogma. And so some people now describe me as deconstructed, but before I used to be called emerging church. So.
No, that's cool. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you back. Everybody go run to the Holy Spackle sub. She does a lot of she trash talks Lowell's cows, and she does what do you call it? Shorts on dunking on the administration. So
I am very concerned politically right now. I've never been so worried for the United States, and I know that we've had evilness in our country for a long time, and it's not new. And I keep learning new things, like the orphan train, but I feel like this is a big turning point, and I'm very, very concerned. And so I have been more political than usual. Usually I focus more on religion and philosophy, but I feel morally compelled to talk about it.
Yeah, good times. I'm sorry, not what you just said, but just reminiscing. Because I started this when I was in a very started this channel when I was not in a very bad mood, and I was I wanted it to be kind of lighthearted and fun, though, where we could come and laugh and get the stench of the past week off, so we can be ready to move into the next week. It's really hard to do that as Americans anymore, but I want people to come here and feel like they have community. all the time. So before I used to be pretty bad on the mods. I'm like, I want people to come here and feel like they can talk. And now I'm getting a little more strict about modding because I feel like before I hated it, the idea of a safe space, and I'm more and more lately appreciating that people need that.
People are getting wild lately in the comment
Yeah.
sections and the chat sections. They're getting a little vicious lately.
But Vandy, do you have anything coming up this week or soon or ever?
Well, so
online.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't normally go off crazy with that answer, Maya. Anyway, so Kip implied that maybe Budget Scripture Saturday was going to be a bi-weekly thing, meaning every other week, I think. I don't fucking know.
Oh, who's saying now? Are you on my show Saturday? Is it this Saturday? Woohoo! Budget Scripture Saturday.
Yeah, so I'm also unclear as to whether or not like I'm actually like a co-host. But yes, I will always say yes. The week after I can't because I'm traveling. My brother's getting married. It's the whole thing. That's why I have to. I'm not here for.
Which is why I asked for online shit.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes, I will be on Budget Scripture Saturday over at Kip's this Saturday. Fantastic.
All right. And next week, I believe we have Dr. Parks coming on. We're going to be talking about, I believe we're going to be doing Hollow Moon or something about Hollow Moon. He's going to be helping us deconstruct that.
Last time we did moon theory. Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, the last time I was talking about soul catchers on the moon, and people were saying that no, that makes the moon a Death Star, and the Death Star is not a hollow moon. They're very adamant about that.
Space station.
Space stations are not hollow or whatever. They're not planets, though. Or say planets. They're not moons. They're not satellites of a planet.
They are satellites. They're artificial satellites.
Yes, the moon is an artificial satellite, and that's what we'll be discussing. And Dr. Parks is an astronomer who is going to help us deconstruct that. See what I did there? I have Dr. Tapioca Weasel likes this one. Oh, nice whoops. Clap. That's not it.
I was like, I don't think I have a history of liking that one.
Nope.
But I mean, you're not wrong. I need it.
There you
I do love that one. The kid who fell is fine. He does start crying.
He's fine. He is fine. Well, I mean, yeah, he cried. I mean, after he finishes crying, he's more embarrassed than anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I loved about Jennifer Lawrence is that she would fall because she drank too much, and everybody found it endearing instead of like, oh, what a drunk. They just are like, yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you. God, we got up to almost 90 tonight, and I'm excited. I hope to see you all next week. And until then, oh my God, I totally forgot my tagline. I'm trying a new tagline, Spackle. So
nitties and vaginas, something.
Nitties and vaginas, yes. Nitties and vaginas for all. Vote for Maya. Be true to who you are, not who you were told to be.